Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Art Block with Ant and Derek. I'm Ant.
And I'm Derek.
How you doing today there, Derek?
Doing okay, doing okay.
And this is our final episode of the first season. We thank everybody for watching and for our sponsors for the support.
Yes, yes.
So Derek, let's get right to it. We have a couple of guests today, and our topic is?
Our topic is self-publishing.
Right.
Publishing where not necessarily novels, but it could just be anything, whether it's news, comic books.
Comic books.
Or just audio.
Essays.
Yes.
Yeah.
Newsletters.
Yeah, any sort of thing. Even in independent papers.
Yes, yes.
Newspapers and such. And anyway, so you've done a little self-published, or you've been involved with it.
Well, yes,
you've attempted it.
Yeah, I attempted it.
Right,
I attempted it. I'm still kind of hesitant because I've written, well, 2 books. I'm still waiting for a publisher. I'm kind of reluctant to self-publish.
Right.
I want to sell more than just like 20, copies to my family and friends. So, but I do have a couple of literary books, like the Solix Project, self-published by my co-host Anthony B. Harris.
Yes.
And what was this about? Something about werewolves or something?
Oh yeah, it's a like a post-apocalyptic, futuristic kind of sci-fi. After 9/11, war breaks out, and basically the combatants are cat soldiers and wolf soldiers that the opposing sides created in a laboratory, so to speak.
Yes.
Pick it up. It's on the computer, Amazon, a couple of places you can get it if you're interested, or go to the Golden Bough downtown.
Wow.
But
so dog and cat fight, right?
Basically, yeah. One of the oldest rivalries in the history of the world, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, see, my thing with publishing, self-publishing, is a lot of people frown upon it. Because they say, well, that's for people that can't get anywhere on the, because their stuff's not good enough, which I disagree with completely. I mean, I like that whole DIY thing, and I
do
think,
it yourself.
And also my whole thing is that there's no time like the present.
Right.
Why wait for someone else to tell you something's good enough to put out there? If you did it, you're proud of it. You got one life. Do it. It's work. It's something to be proud of. Put it out there.
I agree.
And believe it or not, there are a lot of classic, famous authors that self-published. And I had a list of them here. Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn, he self-published it. And the reason he did that was because he was so tired of putting up with the foolishness of his publisher at the time, who had problems with the book and didn't like this and this and this. He was so tired of getting rejected and having these complaints come in that he ended up self-publishing Huckleberry Finn on his own. And with some of the money he made from that, he was responsible for putting some work in one of the early typewriters.
Wow.
And there's a lot of famous authors that did that.
Did that come out before or after Tom Sawyer?
No, Tom Sawyer was first.
Okay.
See, he was already established as a published author. It's just when he did Huckleberry Finn, and I could imagine what the problems were with it, knowing Huckleberry Finn, the publisher didn't want to publish it, didn't like it, whatever about it. I don't know if it was the content or what it did. I mean, who knows? But he was tired of being given the runaround, and he just said, "I'll publish it myself." So, and Walt Whitman, he's a self-publisher, Leaves in Grass. Beatrix Potter, the Peter Rabbit stories, she completely self-published all of those. The list goes on. John Grisham, A Time to Kill.
Wow.
What I'd found out about that was it had gone through 15 publishers and 30 agents, and then he decided to just publish it himself. So I think when you hear self-publishing's a death knell, I disagree with that. I think it's in the work, and if something's good, or if there's an audience for something and it's liked, why not? It can be no worse than some of the stuff professionally published stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, not to be disheartening. If you can find success in publishing it yourself, go for it. I'm still kind of hesitant because I've gotten like over 60 rejections from just from my first novel alone. I even had some local, I think I had one publisher gave me a letter, said it had too many words in it. It's a book, but it has too many words in it. I mean, that's like a vegan that doesn't like salads. I just don't understand.
Maybe
I don't know. Too much lettuce.
Maybe they wanted you to cut to the chase more so. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't
probably.
But speaking of rejections, a lot of big great authors rejected. Norman Mailer was rejected for The Naked and the Dead 12 times. Jack London was rejected over 600 times before his first short story was ever published.
Before Call of the Wild, right?
Yeah, this is early on, and so a lot of authors, famous authors of books and even comics, have been rejected. That's part of the game. But as I said, I like the self-publishing idea because also you edit yourself. You don't have someone else outside telling you what should be put here, what you should do here. You wrote the book, you created the art. You should know best what you want for your art, not some outsider telling you what you need to take out, what you need to put in, how many words you need to add to it, and all that. But we're going to get into the comic aspect of self-publishing, which I'm kind of not on top of as much with our guests after the first break. But I do want to go into this about comics. One of the most popular, well-known, and successful self-published comics was American Splendor, Harvey P. Carr. That's a case of a very successful self-published comic that is very influential in comics, period. You might remember the movie that was made about American Splendor. I don't know if you saw the movie, but another one which borders kind of on self-publishing is Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was more of an independent underground company. But another case of that and American Flag. I don't know if you remember the comic American Flag by First Comics. That holds the distinction of being the first, pun intended, comic outside of Marvel and DC from an independent, unknown company to be highly successful and influential. And that's
not even Dark Horse, or that was just totally different.
This is before Dark Horse. This is it's American Flag with 2 G's, Flagg, if you want to look that up. But our guest will talk more about the self-publishing and comic books. I don't know a whole lot about that myself. But talk about this book here. This is a buddy of yours that you did some.
Voiceover work. Yeah. Yes, this book is called The Paragons, written by a local author here by the name of Cliff Chandler, and I went to one of his book signings, and he introduced me to, got me into writing a novel in the first place. And a few years later, last year, I was privileged to actually do an audiobook CD of this novel. It's a crime novel, and it's available on iTunes, CD Baby, and 3DAudioscapes.com. If you ever check the audiobook CD version of this, The Paragons. It's a very, very good book.
And where can they find it?
The printed?
That or your audiobook?
Oh, yes. You could also find it, I think, at Kima's bookstore. That's in Gray, Georgia. Right. And also, like I said, you could find the digital audiobook. You could download it at cdbaby.com, I think, 3DAudioscapes.com, and also on iTunes.
All right. All right, well, we're going to head to a commercial here in a minute, and when we come back, we will have our guests, Mathew D. Smith and David Simonton, who are some local comic book writers and artists that have brought us such things as Simon Says, The Adventures of Liberty City, Curse of Stranglehold, and Bee Sting, which is hopefully a soon-to-be-released film. So, enjoy one of these great commercials, and we'll be back on the Art Block with Ant and Derek and our guests, Mathew Smith and David Simonton.
We'll see you in a few.
Welcome back to the Art Block with Ant and Derek here on Making TV WPGA. And I want to welcome our guests, David Simonton, Mathew D. Smith, some local comic book artist and writer who have done a lot of self-publishing. They put out quite a bit of stuff here. So guys, tell me a little bit about how you got into this and when it started.
Matthew's idea a few years ago. He wrote me and his brother Brad, who also is one of the artists, asked if we wanted to take all our characters that we created when we were little, actually, and make a comic. And, you know, at that point we were like, well, let's actually put out a real comic instead of photocopy and...
Yeah.
And Staples.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point, I had gone to a few conventions, and I had seen
Right.
some companies that offered options for publishing your own comic in
Right.
terms of actually doing it to look like a real comic.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, this could definitely work. And
Right.
between the three of us, we had been doing it for so long as kids, and we had so many characters. I was like, well, let's do it. Just
Right.
revive them, bring it back.
Right. Is the Adventures of Liberty City, is this the first that
Yes.
y'all have done together?
Yes.
Yes, that's
Wow.
we basically combined a lot of our heroes and villains and
Right.
and worked out what the first storyline would be. And right now we're currently publishing number 9. It'll be back from the printers in a week. So.
Right. So let me ask this: Did you ever attempt to send it out to an established company first, or did you just go straight into just do it ourselves?
Just straight
Yeah.
into
Right.
do it
right.
ourselves.
So you didn't have to worry. You didn't have any rejection notices.
No,
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 we
did it.
have a good streak going.
That's
so,
right.
Yeah.
no
they're
editorial
on-
mandate or
That's right.
anything.
Yeah.
And you're on issue 9 right now, right?
Yes.
The
Yes.
Adventures
Yes.
of Liberty City. And these can all be picked up at local comic stores and online.
Yeah, they're
Right.
all at Comics Plus down on
Right.
Zebulon Road, and they're also for sale on my website. It's mdsmithcomics.blogspot.com.
Right. So let's go ahead and just talk a little bit about Adventures of Liberty City. Give the audience a quick rundown of what this is about.
Well, it's basically a group of characters that have been formed together, reforming a team where the 3 years prior to that, the original team had all died in battle. And so basically they've been reformed to battle an unknown threat that they were not aware of, when they formed.
Right.
It's very much like classic Justice League Avengers kind of
Right,
team book.
right,
It's
right.
got a lot of humor in each issue too, so
Right.
it's
Right.
it's a lot of fun. It's accessible for readers of all ages, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Good. Okay. And then Mathew, you did some of these over here without David. You have a ongoing series called Simon Says, which is, if I understand right, this is sort of autobiographical.
Yeah,
Sort of reflects your
loosely.
life in school.
Yeah,
in high school.
I'd written 3 short stories over the years, and
Right.
and I kind of combined elements from all 3 of those, and then threw in some autobiographical elements.
Right.
And I have this. It's a 9-issue series about a guy, Simon, and his circle of friends.
Right.
They're all trying to score concert tickets to a show coming to their town, and it's about how that concert kind of indirectly changes their life over the next year,
Right.
for the good and the bad.
Right. Right.
It's a lot of humor and a lot of drama at the same time, and
Right.
and everybody in there is based loosely or an amalgam of people I know.
Right,
So, yeah.
right. And then you also had a couple of graphic novels here, The Curse of Stranglehold, and tell a little bit about that.
It's kind of like an urban legend ghost story type thing, about a kid who's killed in the woods outside of his hometown in the 70s, and his ghost haunts the area.
Right.
And so nobody really goes to that area anymore. Flash forward to modern times, and a group of kids are out there, and a few of them get killed, and the girl that survives, she's trying to solve the
Right.
mystery of who this ghost is and why he's haunting the area.
Right. And then we have Bee Sting, which, as I said earlier, is one you're hoping to turn into a film.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Bee Sting.
It's kind of like an homage to 80s teen movies and slasher movies at the same time. It's
Right.
a lot of humor and a lot of horror, in both aspects. But
Right.
it's about a group of kids going to be camp counselors. They take a wrong turn and they meet some redneck cannibals,
Right.
and it just goes
Right.
south from there.
Right. Right. And I've noticed you, like myself, and Derek, I can speak for too. I noticed that music plays a huge part
Oh,
in your
definitely.
art and in your comics.
Yeah.
To the point where at the end of each issue, he gives you a list of songs that's influenced him,
Right.
what he was listening to while he was creating these, which is a neat little idea. Of course, Curse of Stranglehold. Stranglehold will give you a little hint about one of those songs. Any Ted Nugent fans out there? But so give some advice to other people that might want to go this route. I mean, what do you have to say to them? I mean, I know that's a typical cliche interview question, and maybe you don't have an answer. Maybe just do it yourself is the answer. But I mean,
Yeah, just find a way to get it out there.
Yeah,
It may be self-published, but the first issue came out, and I was like more excited than
Right.
anything else.
That's
you
right.
have to get it out there, and of course,
right.
he goes to different conventions all around. People buy them all
Yeah.
around. The name gets out there, so you can get it. You can get the word spread and
Right.
Sell quite a few copies if you like.
Right.
I think the thing for me was that I just got to the point where I was seeing so many different comics and movies and reading books, and I was like, this isn't that good.
Right.
and,
Oh, yeah.
and professionally made stuff, and I was like, I think I could do something at least as good.
Right.
Or I had
Right.
ideas, and
Right.
I never did anything with them, and then later on I saw those ideas pop up in a movie or another comic.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, I had that
crap.
idea.
Yeah. That's why it kind of helps to do this. Also, it gives you your own sort of copyright.
Yeah.
Automatically.
Yeah, totally.
You have to go that route. So, what you were telling me during the commercial break, you have something you're working on together again.
Yeah.
Besides the Adventures of Liberty City.
Right. We're working on another comic. It's called Black Metal Record Store. It's kind of like what would be it? Like High Fidelity meets Clerks kind of
Meets
type
black
thing.
metal.
Yeah. Combined with black
With an
metal.
underlying theme, it actually there is a story behind it other than just a lot of crazy dialogue.
Yeah.
And hopefully there'll be more coming out too. But I love black metal. I love comics. He loves music and comics. Why not
goes
just
together.
put it together?
Yeah, we're working on the first issue of that, and it should be out by the end of summer, early fall.
Right.
So, yeah.
And do you all swap off on the writing and drawing, or does one always write, one always draw? Do you do both?
On the black metal one, I wrote it. He's drawing it.
Right.
With the adventures books, I'm the writer. We all come up with the story.
Right.
I'm the writer, and then he and Brad swap off on what I'm pencils it and what I'm inks it, and then the next issue they swap. And
Right.
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 So and covers the same thing. They take turns doing the covers, and so everybody pretty much has an equal
Right.
share. In it.
Do you self-published author myself? If that makes sense. Do you how do you have to go about and get the ISBN numbers and the barcodes for comics? Is it the same as it is for books and novels?
It actually worked out really well because the company I found a few different companies, and the one that I found that's the best, they actually act like a middleman, and they'll kind of go through the process of getting that for you for a small extra fee.
Right.
So they kind of go through the whole process of getting that ISBN for you.
Right.
Yeah, so it kind of helped out. So it wasn't something I had to do separate.
Right.
The same people printing it helped me get that as well.
Right.
So that kind of worked out
Right.
pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, for books, it's something. It's a little over $300 to get 10 ISBN numbers, and then for the barcode, I think it's $10 per barcode. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah,
for
it's
comics,
the same
but,
pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, well, great. What influences have you had in comics in general, but in comics? I mean, were you more influenced by the Marvel, DC, big daddy companies, or were you influenced by the independent stuff? I mean, what little there was when we were younger. I mean, I understand there wasn't as much independent stuff as there is now, but were you influenced by any of that?
My biggest influence was DC in the '80s, which later became Vertigo with Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman,
some of the greats,
Peter Milligan, writers like that, and there's little things in here, that I throw in that, are just
Homage.
inspired by
Yeah.
Alan Moore, just little twists and turns, and
I'm inspired by the music and movies and everything that I see, but as far as comic writers and books go, like I'm a real big fan of Mike Allred, does Madman and that kind of stuff, and Jeff Smith, who does Bone, and a lot of the early '90s independent guys like that.
Right.
Sean McKeever did a series called The Waiting Place, which was independently published, and later IDW published a graphic novel collection of all the issues, and it was great. And I can definitely, maybe subconsciously, that was a inspiration for Simon Says in a way.
Right. So we got about 30 seconds before we take our commercial break. Let the audience know where they can get in touch with you guys. Web addresses or email addresses. And,
our email address is 80pork, spelled out EIGHTY, pork @yahoo.com. And then on my blog, there's a link to buying all of our stuff on there. It's MD, like my initials, Mathew D, mdsmithcomics.blogspot.com.
Okay, sounds good. We'll be back with our contestant and our guests, and they're going to play a little game of trivia. Stay tuned.
Return to Wellston with Solid Ground, the complete first season on DVD.
No way, that's awesome.
The 4-disc set includes all 12 episodes plus cast and crew interviews, behind-the-scenes featurettes, outtakes, and more.
Works for me.
That was easy. Let's get to watching.
Filmed in Middle Georgia, see what the Telegraph called a humorous take on the detective series. Own Solid Ground, the complete first season today.
And we're back on the Art Block with Ann and Derek, and I'm here with contestant Alicia Simonton.
Hello.
Hello, how do you do? Thanks for coming on the show.
No problem, thank you.
Great, great. Our guests are somewhere on the other side of the studio. They can't hear and see what we're doing right now. So, Alicia, glad you're here, and what do you do?
Well, concerning our topic today, I am the husband, he's my husband, David Simonton. My brothers, Mathew and Brad, are the artists slash co-writers slash inker, whatever. So they like to call me the first lady of 80 Pork, which is their company. So besides being their biggest fan,
That's always good. The more the merrier.
Yeah. I'm input editor PR lady.
All right. Okay. That's very good. Well, I guess we're going to get ready for this trivia game, and we have 7 questions. This Joseph Heller book was ironically rejected 22 times before being published. What is the name of the book?
Go to the next one.
Okay, pass. Okay. What DC character recently came out of the closet? Bonus if you can name the alter ego.
Okay, I'm going to dismiss all these questions so my husband looks good. I don't know.
Okay. Number 3, true or false? Margaret Atwood is a self-published author.
We'll say true.
Okay, you have 1. Okay. What actor portrayed Harvey Picard in the film version of American Splendor?
This is too much pressure. Go back, I know that one.
Oh, pass? Okay. Number 5, Kevin Eastman is one half of the creative team behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who is the other?
Oh, you just said that in the beginning.
Okay. Okay. True or false? Dr. Seuss was rejected over 24 times before he was published.
That's a shame, but it's probably true.
All right, you did too. You actually did better than me. Okay.
Oh,
Question number 1. This Joseph Heller book was ironically rejected 22 times before being published. What is the name of the book?
Catch 22.
Yes, that's correct. Number 2. What DC character recently came out of the closet? Bonus if you could name the alter ego.
Green Lantern, Alan Scott.
Yeah, correct. Okay. True or false? Margaret Atwood is a self-published author.
True.
Okay. Wow, 3. Okay, what actor portrayed Harvey Picard in the film version of American Splendor?
Paul Giamatti.
Okay.
I thought it was Gary Coleman.
Okay. Wow. Kevin Eastman is one half of the creative team behind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Who is the other?
Laird.
Peter Laird.
Peter Laird. Okay. Wow. True or false? Dr. Seuss was rejected over 24 times before he was published.
True.
Okay. Final question. Who is the Shadow?
He knows. Shadow knows.
Oh.
Even though I've read the comics so many times.
Alec Baldwin.
After the game results, looks like the comic book team won 6-2. I'm sorry. The final question, the answer of the final question was who was the Shadow? It was Lamont Cranston, since neither one were able to get it. But nevertheless, you do have a consolation prize of packages of goods and works of our local artists, and hope you enjoy them.
I'll make them share.
Okay, okay. And since, actually it goes to Alicia, yeah. And since,
For losing.
yeah, and since you won, you get to squirt water at the contestant.
Here you go. Do I pump it?
Yes. Wow.
Refreshing.
Yes.
Do you want
And
to turn too?
Sure, why not?
Get her in the neck.
okay, and we'll be right back.
Yes, it's good to
Yes.
see the Solid Ground boys are about to give us another fine production, The Legend
yeah.
of Sackhead. All right, my daughter Elizabeth Harris here, my sweetheart's joining us for this last segment. And we just want to thank everybody for a wonderful first season of the Art Block with Aunt Derek here on Making TV WPGA. We've had some great guests
Yes.
so far. We hope to continue to do this.
Oh,
Hope
yes.
to come back for another season. If you want to sponsor, please hit us up. The Art Block with Aunt Derek Facebook page. Email address, Derek.
Yes.
They can hit you up where?
Yeah, hit me up at dbarrettfilms@gmail.com.
Or you can write me at harrisland4@yahoo.com. We would love to do a commercial for you. You sponsor our show, we'll give you a good price, and we do make a great commercial for you with the help of our producer-director, William Grammer. And again, we thank you, and we hope to see you again soon here on Making TV WPGA.
And support the arts.